Okay, we go to the chapter 2 in the book. This topic under chapter 4, right, which is on the evaluating a firm's financial performance. So this is the best part, okay, for you to know about the analysis of the financial statement. Okay, analysis of the financial statement. For this chapter, this is three of learning objective for the chapter 2, which is explain the purpose and importance of financial analysis. Okay, calculate and use a comprehensive set of measurement to evaluate a company's performance and describe the limitation of financial ratios analysis. This is a three of learning objective for this chapter. Alright. Okay. For the objective number 1, what are the purpose of financial analysis? Okay, apakah peranan apakah tujuan analisis kewangan? So dah nama pun you are appointed as a finance manager, okay, pengurus kewangan. So you must know to do the analysis on the financial statement. Okay, what are the purpose of the financial statement? The purpose of the financial statement is financial analysis using ratios. Okay, financial analysis using ratios. This is a popular way to analyze the financial statement is by computing ratios. This is the one of the financial tools in order to know how the situation of the company in their financial position. Okay, a ratio is a relationship between two numbers. Example, a given ratio of A and B equal to 30 and 10 means A is 3 times with B. Sebagai contoh, okay, untuk ratio ni, bila kita calculate in term of ratio, kita akan melibatkan dua number. Dah nama pun ratio kan? Of course dia akan ada 30 nisbah 10. Okay, 30 nisbah 10. Apakah yang dimaksudkan dengan 30 nisbah 10? Maksud dia adalah dia asal dia A nisbah B equal to 30 nisbah 10. Maksud dia adalah 3 kali A adalah 3 kali daripada B. Means that A tu lebih besar daripada B sebanyak 3 kali. Itu adalah ratio. Cara lihat dia. Cara nak describe. Ini adalah contoh secara umum. So nanti bila dapat the real financial analysis, kalau kita nak calculate by ratio, kita akan tengok lah. A ratio by itself may have no meaning. Okay, kalau satu je dia tak ada maksud lah. Okay, a given ratio is compared to satu-satu ratio yang kita dapat. Kalau kita calculate kita calculate itself, a ratio by itself without comparing with the previous years or without comparing a ratio by itself with the ratio of other firm or other leaders in the same industry, each ratio have no meaning. Maksudnya, kalau kita calculate untuk company, kita calculate untuk company kita sebagai financial analyst, kita calculate kita punya ratio, kita dapat satu nilai. Kalau satu nilai tu saja, dia tak ada makna apa-apa. Tapi kita kena compare nilai yang kita dapat itu dengan tahun sebelum, baru kita boleh bezakan. Kalau tahun sebelum dapat 2, contoh tahun sebelum dapat 2, tahun ni dapat 3. So baru kita boleh compare antara tahun sebelum dengan tahun sekarang. Tapi kalau kita dapat nilai untuk tahun sekarang saja, macam mana kita nak, how we want to do comparison between others? So that selain daripada kita compare daripada tahun sebelumnya, kita juga boleh compare antara ratio from own company and with other company ratio, other firm ataupun company yang dalam in the same industry. So kena do comparison. Kalau a ratio by itself, it have no meaning. Okay, so this is on the ratio. Okay, uses of financial ratios. siapakah pengguna ataupun apakah kegunaan. Okay, kenapa benda tu ratio-ratio ni berkait dan sangat penting dalam company, within the firm. Okay, kerana to identify deficiencies in a firm performance and take corrective action. Okay, nombor satu, dengan adanya ratio-ratio tersebut, kita boleh kenal pasti apakah kelemahan firma kita dan apakah tindakan yang kita boleh ambil untuk kita betulkan, untuk kita do some corrective action for our firm. Alright, for the second is evaluate employee performance, determine incentive and determine incentive compensation. Okay, yang kedua adalah in order to evaluate our employee performance and to determine what is the incentive that the employee will receive on their performance. So kita kena tengok in term of ratios lah. Okay, nisbah kewangan ini sangat penting dalam firma kita untuk employer to evaluate their employee performance. Alright, the third is compare the financial performance of the firm different division so that this financial ratio, uses of financial ratios within the firm is untuk membezakan, compare the financial performance. Tadi kita dah tengok kan tujuan ratios ni dia kena compare antara current year with the previous year, current year in your company with the current year ratios with the other company but in the same industry, so that apart from that, financial ratios also used for compare the financial performance of the firm's different decision. Sebagai contoh, dalam satu, for example, in our business have many division, maybe finance division, marketing division, operation division, and so on, sales division, purchase division dan sebagainya. So these ratios able to compare the financial performance between the different division in our firm, right? Alright, this is the other side of the uses of financial ratio within the firm. Prepare at both firm and division level financial projection. Itu juga dalam financial ratios ini boleh digunakan bagi tujuan nak sediakan sama ada untuk kita punya business secara overall ataupun dalam konteks division kita punya perancangan kewangan kita. Nak buat budgeting kan, nak buat capital budgeting dan sebagainya, kita guna ratios tersebut sebagai rujukan. Okay, seterusnya understand the financial performance of the firm's competitors. So that before this I inform you that the financial ratios itself not give you any meaning, but when you compare your ratios with the other firm or other competitors ratios, you can know what are the situation, what are the current position for your financial performance. Alright, apart from that, evaluate the financial condition of a major suppliers. Selain daripada itu, financial ratio juga boleh membantu kita untuk evaluate financial financial condition of a major supplier. So kita boleh kenal, kita boleh nilai, kita boleh tentukan, kita boleh analyse our major supplier, what are the financial condition of our major supplier. So sebelum kita sebelum dia supply apa-apa untuk kita kan, kita boleh tahu apakah kondisi kewangan dia. Semua orang ada everyone ada chance, ada peluang untuk do the analysis for the firms that you want to involve. Okay, semua orang ada peluang lah untuk buat analisis kepada financial statements. Kenapa? Kerana all the annual reports of the company will disclose to third party and so on. Okay, kita adalah third party lah kalau kita berminat untuk melabur ke kan dan sebagainya. Okay, we go to the uses of financial ratios. Tadi within the firm, now outside the firm. Financial ratios are used by lenders in deciding whether or not to lend to a company. Okay, berkaitan dengan orang biasanya orang nak bagi kita pinjam ke tak kan, satu duit tu dia akan tengok ratio kita. Kalau ratio ni, from the ratio, the other company able to know whether your company able to pay the loan in the time given or not. Alright. Apart from that, credit rating agencies in determining a firm credit worthiness, maksudnya kemampuan kemampuan firma kita dalam membayar hutang-hutang syarikat. So daripada from the ratio, daripada analysis, we will know on the credit rating agencies. Okay, untuk bantu ada satu agensi yang berkaitan dengan credit rating, okay, dalam memastikan macam mana pengurusan, how our firm how our firm uruskan organize our firm credit. Okay, investor, shareholders and bond holders in deciding whether or not to invest in the company. Okay, let's say we want to invest in terms of common stock or preference stock in the company, so that we will use the financial ratio to do some decision either to invest or not in the company. Alright, major suppliers in deciding to whether or not to extend credit to a company and or in designing the specific credit term. Okay, this is on the major suppliers, so that when our major supplier supply their goods and services to our company, so that maybe we use them as a major supplier, so that we must to pay either by cash or by credit, either by cash or by accrual basis, so that major suppliers will use our ratios, our information on the financial statement to decide either to extend our credit term or not. Okay, so kalau kita punya orang yang supply barang kat kita tu tengok kita punya pengurusan kewangan dalam membayar hutang tu tak bagus, maybe dia decide untuk tak ada buat relationship between us, ataupun macam mana, ataupun dia setuju untuk extend kita punya term on credit dan sebagainya. Okay, itu dia boleh lihat semua benda. Okay, for your information, all the company that registered under the SSM or under the Security Commission should disclose their financial statement in the Bursa Malaysia or Security Commission website, and all the peoples that interested into the firm will know the performance of the company through the financial statement or financial ratios. Okay, usually the financial ratio will compute by itself, kita sendiri kalau kita nak tahu, tapi kalau financial statement, the company will prepare for all the users lah. Alright, this is the next objective on measuring key financial relationship. This is on the how you calculate the ratios based on the financial statement. Alright, we go to the next slide on the, okay, this is the first ratios that we focus on, the how liquid is the firm. Can it pay its bills? So when we discuss on the liquid, it refers to the asset, our asset. Okay. When we discuss on the asset consists of two, which is current asset and non-current asset. Alright. A liquid asset. Okay, a liquid asset is one that can be converted quickly and routinely into cash at the current market price. Okay, a liquid asset ini adalah ataupun aset cair adalah salah satu aset yang secara pantas ataupun secara rutin dia boleh ditransform into cash dalam pasaran semasa. Let's say, sebagai contoh, okay, one of the item under the liquid asset is inventory, because, okay, let's say lah kan, we run our business so that inventory is the one of the current asset, so that and inventory also known as a liquid asset, because inventory always buy and sold to other people. Sometimes kita beli after our inventory is finished, sold to other people, and then we buy again from the supplier. So biasanya dah nama pun kita punya jualan utama kita, contoh kita buka syarikat sarung tangan. Let's say sarung tangan lah. Of course our okay, let's say we form a glove firm, firma sarung tangan. So our inventory is glove lah. So kita jual glove, okay, bila orang beli, when other people buy our glove, so after the glove is finished, we buy again from the supplier. So dia akan keluar masuk. Orang beli dengan kita, orang beli dengan kita beli pula dengan orang untuk kita jual balik. Keluar masuk. Dia the process of buy and sold. Okay, the process of buy and sold, dia maksudnya berjalan sesuai dengan barang yang kita ada. So kalau tak ada, kita beli. Kalau ada, bila orang jual, kita boleh jual. Bila orang nak beli daripada kita jual lah. Itu adalah salah satu contoh lah. One of the example of liquid asset is inventory. Because the inventory can be converted quickly and routinely into cash at the current market price. So bila kita bagi ke orang, we involve in the sold of our inventory, so that we will get cash. We will get cash in term of cash, or also kau belum terima lah, ataupun kita punya orang yang berhutang kan, debtors and creditors and so on. Okay, liquidity measure the firm ability to pay its bills on time. It indicates the ease with which non-cash asset can be converted to cash to meet their financial obligation. Ini adalah berkaitan dengan kecairan lah, tahap kecairan bila kita membicarakan when the liquidity issue on liquidity, this measures the firm ability to pay its bill on time. Macam mana satu firma tu mampu nak bayar dia punya satu bill yang ditanggung tu pada masa dia. Dia akan berkait dengan itulah aset, benda-benda yang di bawah current asset, iaitu inventory, cash and so on, right? Sesuatu ni, macam mana sesuatu, how one of the current asset tu can change into the cash. Okay, how quickly and routinely. Okay. How liquid is the firm? Liquidity is measured by two approach, which is comparing the firm's current asset and current liabilities. Ini adalah kaedah. This is the method how you calculate the liquidities. Okay, first one is compare your firm current asset and current liabilities, examining the firm ability to convert account receivable and inventory into cash on a timely basis. So that cara untuk anda mengira anda punya kadar kecairan ini ada dua kaedah. Yang pertama adalah anda kena bandingkan aset semasa. So the important part is current asset, bukan total of asset, but you must compare the current asset with the current liabilities, not the total asset and total liabilities. Because if we say on asset consists of two, which is a current asset or non-current asset. And when we talk about the liabilities also have a two, which is current liability and non-current liabilities. So that you must be careful in doing this calculation, because some people make the mistake when they are in doing calculating on the liquidity because they took the total asset and total liabilities. But the real approaches, which is you must compare between the current asset and current liabilities. Okay. Apart from that, liquidity method is made by two approach. The second approach is examining the firm abilities to convert account receivable and inventory into cash on a timely basis. Nak convert lah awak punya account belum terima. Account belum terima ni dalam arti kata lain account receivable ataupun dalam arti kata nama yang lain adalah awak punya hutang. Orang yang hutang dengan awak. Okay, sejauh mana kemampuan awak, kemampuan firma untuk ubahkan orang yang hutang dengan kita tu kepada cash. Maksudnya macam mana kemampuan kita nak collect from our receivable. Okay. Pada masa dia lah. Alright. This is the next. How we measuring liquidity. This is the compare a firm's current assets with current liabilities using current ratios and acid test or quick ratios. This is the two of the ratios. So this is the Coca-Cola income statement. Okay, you can refer this income statement in order to calculate the current ratios. This is the formula. Okay. Okay, how to interpret the answer? Okay, Coca-Cola current ratios is 1.02. Okay, as we learned before, in order to do the ratios, you must compare the ratios for your company with other company from the same sector, or compare your ratios with the previous ratios. So that Coca-Cola has only 1.02 in current asset for every 1 ringgit in current liabilities. Coca-Cola liquidity is lower than the Pepsi's company, which has a current ratios of 1.14. Okay, this is explained that each 1 ringgit, setiap 1 ringgit dalam hutang yang awak tanggung, awak ada RM1.02. Okay, awak ada RM1.02 dalam current asset. Means that Coca-Cola lebih bagus kerana dalam setiap RM1 yang dia tanggung, dia ada RM1.14. Itu cara. Okay, the cara untuk interpret. Alright, this is the asset test ratio. Okay, sama calculation. Quick ratio compares cash and current asset. So you will learn on the how to calculate it by using the formula. Coca-Cola has 81 cents in quick asset for every RM1 in current debts. Coca-Cola is slightly less liquid than Pepsi because dia kurang kecairan kerana Pepsi lebih tinggi. Setiap RM1 hutang dia $1 or RM1, I assume it as RM1, which has 85 cents. Okay. This is the second measuring liquidity perspective 2. Measures a firm ability to convert account receivable and inventory into cash. Macam mana kemampuan firma untuk convert account receivable into cash. This is two method or two formulas. Okay. 1 days in receivable, berapa tempoh masa. Okay. Coca-Cola is slightly faster than Pepsi kerana dia menggunakan hanya 35 hari sahaja. Coca-Cola only use 35 days to collecting their account receivable, while Pepsi use 36 days in collecting account receivable. So this is account receivable turnover. How many times are the account receivable roll over each years? So that Coca-Cola 10 times. Okay, the inclusion is the same. Coca-Cola 10.38 is slightly faster sebab dia ambil masa yang lebih because Coca-Cola took the less time compared by Pepsi to collect their receivable. Alright. This is the days in inventory. How long is the inventory held before being sold? Berapa banyak? Okay. Berapa tempoh masa inventory itu duduk di kita punya firma sebelum dia mampu dijual? Days in inventory. So Coca-Cola, you will use the formula that state in this slide or will refer into your books. So formula is inventory divided by daily cost of goods sold. So we use the 365 days in a year. So that we calculate and we get 63.25 days. Coca-Cola 3 days before their inventory being sold, but Pepsi 37 days. So that Pepsi is much more better compared for Coca-Cola because Coca-Cola carry inventory for a long time than Pepsi. So lagi cepat keluar, lagi bagus, lagi baik lah. Okay. Lagi sikit duduk dalam firma, lagi bagus. Alright, how inventory turnover? How many times are the firm inventory sold and replaced during the year? Berapa kali? Okay, tadi berapa lama? Before this is how long is inventory held before being sold? So that this for how many times are the firm inventory sold and replaced during the year? Berapa kali firma punya inventory tu dijual dan diganti? Berapa kali dalam setahun? So Coca-Cola 5.77 times a year, but the Pepsi 9.83 times a year. So that it shows that the Pepsi is much more better because dia punya times ada firm inventory sold and replaced during year lebih banyak. It means that the Pepsi's company lebih bagus. Maybe sebab dia banyak ganti stok dia kan. Tapi it not necessarily. Because sometimes the company top up their inventory but whole India firm, whole India store and so on. So you should able lah to explain more on this side. Okay, this is a question 2. Are the firm's manager generating adequate operating profit from the company's asset? This question focus on the profitability. So when the question asked on the profitability, this is focused on this question of the asset in which the firm has invested. We consider the following ratios to answer the question. Okay, when we talk about the profitability, when we want to know what are the profitability of the asset, the ratios that relate with the profitability analysis, which is on the operating return on assets, operating profit margin, total asset turnover, fixed asset turnover. This is important. Maybe ada some question on the what are the ratios that you should calculate in order to know what are the profitability of the asset. This is the 4 of the ratios that relate on the profitability. Okay, this is the operating profit result. Okay, this is just on the flows. Use debt, okay, followed by common equity and so on. Okay, this is the formula. Operating return on asset indicates the level of operating profit relative to the firm's total asset. So this is the formula, and then you should know how to interpret the result or the after you use the formulas, you calculate it and you should know how to elaborate your answer. Thus, managers are generating 10.5 cents of operating profit for every $1 or RM1 of assets, which is quite a bit less than Pepsi's. For example, okay, for this company, Coca-Cola company, it's the company generate 10.5 cents for each ringgit on their asset compared with the Pepsi. Pepsi company able to generate 13.7 cents for each ringgit on their asset. So that it means that Pepsi is more better than the Coca-Cola. Alright. This aggregation of operating return of asset, in order to calculate the operating return of asset, we use first formula is operating return on asset equal to operating profit margin times total asset turnover. Operating profit margin dia have their own formula. which is operating profit divided by sales. And total asset turnover also have their own formula, which is sales equal, so divided by total asset. So after you get the answer for the operating profit margin, you calculate operating profit margin first by using their own formula, and then you calculate total asset turnover by itself, and then you times between two of your result. Alright, this is operating return on asset. Okay, this is the example. So you can refer on the Coca-Cola income statement that I shows before, so that Coca-Cola managers are better than Pepsi in managing the cost of goods sold and operating expenses at the operating profit. Margin for Pepsi is only 14.5%, but the Coca-Cola get 21.1%. So much more better from the Pepsi. Okay, this is the managing others ratios. So for the managing asset, in term to calculate your profitability of asset is total asset turnover. This ratio measures how efficiently a firm is using its asset in generating sales. Berapakah macam mana cakap, sejauh mana efisiennya company kita ni untuk menghasilkan banyak jualan yang banyak daripada jumlah aset yang ada. So Coca-Cola is generating 50 cents in sales. Setiap RM1 yang dilaburkan dalam aset, okay, in every $1 or RM1 invested in asset, Coca-Cola is generating 50 cents. Okay, 50 cents, which is much lower than Pepsi, because every ringgit or every dollar invested in asset in Pepsi is generated 95 cents. So that much more better from the Coca-Cola. Alright, this is examining under the same formula. Okay, examines efficiency in generating sales from investment in fixed asset. Ni under fixed asset. Before this, under the total asset turnover. Ni fixed asset turnover. So of course, the sales must be divided by net fixed asset. But before this, we calculate total asset turnover. So sales must be divided by total asset. So please careful when you decide to use the formula. Okay, pastikan nama dia betul-betul. Kalau nama dia total asset, so dia bahagi dengan total asset lah. Kalau nama dia fixed asset, it must just divide by the net fixed asset. Okay, Coca-Cola generate $3.14 in sales for every RM1 invested in fixed asset, which is lower than Pepsi. Pepsi lebih banyak lagi dia mampu generate dia punya hasil daripada setiap nilai fixed asset ni dalam arti kata lain non-current asset. This is the process you will see on your slide. Okay. Question 3. How is the firm financing its asset? Bagaimana firma tu dia financing dia punya asset tu dalam konteks of macam mana firma membiayai dia punya aset dia. Okay, how we examine the question, does the firm finance its asset by debt or equity or both? We use the following two ratios to answer the question. Adakah firma itu finance cover dia punya aset tu dengan hutang ataupun equity ataupun kedua-dua, buat loan dan ataupun sebagainya. Okay, the ratios that relate is debt ratios and time interest earned, which is debt ratios. This is the formula. These ratios indicate the percentage of firms asset that are financed by debt. So that the formula is total debt divided by total asset. We will get the answer. And the answer, how to interpret or elaborate this answer. Coca-Cola finance 67% of its asset by debt and 33% by equity, compared to Pepsi finance 75% of its debt by its asset by debt. So that nak bagi tahu bahawa Coca-Cola ni dia hanyalah 67% sahaja. Okay, daripada aset tu yang dia finance by debt. Okay, tapi selebihnya 33% hutang. Macam mana nak tahu 100% tak nak tu dapat dia. Hanya 6% time interest earn. Time interest earn ni adalah relate by sekejap. Time interest earn focus on the how interest is not paid with income but with cash. Okay, bagaimanakah yang dikatakan dia relate dengan pembayaran faedah. Tadi kita calculate hutang kan. So sekarang setiap hutang, all our debt must be interest. So that this is time interest earn. Dia tengok proses dia punya kitaran kita punya interest expense. Coca-Cola operating income in 20 times, then the annual report, annual interest expense and higher than Pepsi cost due to its relative higher operating profit. So kita tengok kemampuan dia ataupun tengok berapa kali dia boleh dapat interest expenses belanja yang dilibatkan daripada profit yang didapat. Berapa kali dia boleh proses dia punya interest. Okay, this is a time interest. Interest is not paid with income but with cash. Oftentimes, firm are required to repay part of their principal annually. Okay, biasanya interest ni dia akan bayar biasa bersama-sama dengan dia punya principal lah secara tahunan. Thus, time interest earned is only accrued measures of the firm capacity to service its debt. This is on the time interest related by the debt. This is a question number 4. And there are other firms managers providing a goods return on the capital provided by the company shareholders. This is a relate on adakah company itu pengurus syarikat mampu untuk bagi return yang bagus kepada company. Kalau kita nak melabur kan, so kita this part is relate with our process to do the decision either to invest or not. Okay, this is analyzed by computing the firm's accounting return on common stockholders, investment or return on equity. This is a formula. Net income divide by total common equity. So berkaitan dengan our dividend, our return on our investment and so on. Okay, this is a formula. Okay, boleh rujuk kepada income statement untuk awak dapatkan jawapan. So return ini sama ada rendah ataupun kurang. So as a overall, makin tinggi return makin bagus. Okay, so kena compare dengan company yang berkaitan. Okay, this is the flow for the return on equity. And then the question 5 is the firm manager creating shareholders value. Sama juga. Okay, we can use these two approach to answer this question. What are the market value ratio and what are economic value added? Apakah market ratio dan economic value added untuk our common stock in the company? This is the formula. Okay, kalau lagi tinggi our market price adalah lagi bagus lah untuk kita punya buat keputusan kan. This is the price per book. So ni all of this ratio are related with the decision either to involve in the company or not. How to do either we should involve or not. If you let's say you want to involve in the one company, you must make sure that the market price per share for the company is higher and higher and keep increase. Keep increase from time to time. Okay, this is economic value added. Okay, this is also on the effect on your decision to make the decision either to invest or not. Okay, you must follow these formulas and then calculate like this and get the answer. So this will involve the operating return on asset and total asset, also as assumed cost of capital. Alright, this is a summary of the ratios. Okay, which is ada one on the firm liquidity, and then operating profitability, and then financial decision, return on equity, creating shareholders value. Okay, that's all on the ratios. Okay, as you know, this is the ratio. All the ratios are related with your group assignment. Alright. Okay, I will upload my recording in the My Guru, and you will look or learn from this from time to time to make your better understanding. Okay, lastly, on the limitation of financial ratio analysis. Okay, of course, all the ratios of the analysis have their limitation. In this financial ratio analysis, the first limitation is it is sometimes difficult to identify industry category or comparable peers. Sometimes susah untuk kita kenal pasti siapakah saingan kepada company kita. Okay, the published peer group or industry average are only approximation. Dia hanyalah sekadar anggaran sahaja. Sometimes kita cuma anggarkan saja. Maybe not exactly right, and maybe sebab dia in term of only approximation. Industry average may not provide a desirable target ratios. Sometimes maybe the company or the industry that we want to compare is not provide their industry average. So maybe it is the limitation of our financial ratio analysis. And then accounting practices differ widely among the firms. Sometimes other firm maybe practice other accounting practice, other accounting standard. So that when we want to do the financial ratio analysis, it maybe not suit with our firm. A higher or low ratio does not automatically lead to a specific conclusion. So that as we learned before, tinggi rendah, a higher or a low ratio does not mean the company is totally good or totally not good. So it depends the situation of the company. Let's say as I stated before, company tu dia punya inventory turnover is maybe tinggi, tapi maybe dia not sold their inventory, they just beli, buy their inventory and put in their store. Like that lah. So it means that a higher or low ratio does not automatically lead to a specific conclusion. Lastly, season may bias the numbers in the financial statement. Ikutlah kepada keadaan, maybe dia akan bagi kesan kepada financial statement lah. Season kan, faktor season. This is a key term on our assignment, on our chapter and relate with our assignment. I think that's all for me on this subtopic. So ada soalan?